Hello and good evening. Welcome to the No Exit podcast as we follow from JP Sartre. I'm not stuck here with you. You're stuck here with me. Today we have Richard, we have Jim, we have Sal, the Prez, and we got Tom on the keys. And I'm Jason, as always. And we have Paul in the Zoom room, who is represented by a rather hideous-looking representation of a bison killing a cetacean, or squished the fish, as it were. Wow, look at the pipes on that bull, or the bull bison. So, what I'm going, do you have Tom? Do you have the voiceover or for me? There we are. Okay, so I'm going to do it in French first, and then I will do it in English, so you know what our thesis is. This is our mission statement. Alors, sans l'enfer, je n'aurais jamais cru. Tu te souviens de tout ce qu'on nous a raconté sur les chambres de torture, le feu et le soufre, le mar brûlant, des histoires de bonnes femmes? Pas besoin de te soigner chauffes en rouge. L'enfer, c'est les autres. So this is hell. I'd never have believed it. You remember we were all told about the torture chambers, the fire and brimstone, the burning marrow. Old wives' tales. There's no need for red-hot pokers. Hell is other people.
And for children, and for children.
And no, that's the thesis. That's directly from the play Huis Clos, which is translated no exit in English, but Huis Clos is a term for approaching the judge, that off the record.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a list here, but I'm going to go from one for dead naming. Dead naming is an offensive thing when you call somebody by a name that they don't use anymore. My example is, say Miss Jones marries Mr. Smith and she changes her name to Mrs. Smith, and you still call her Miss Jones, even though that's not her name. People have a right to use the name they choose, and calling somebody by a name. Or what if Mrs. Jones divorces Mr. Jones and becomes Miss Smith again, and you still call her Mrs. Jones?
Yeah, what if she had a lovely daughter?
That's not in question here. The thing is about the person, because that's a whole separate kettle of fish that becomes really difficult. What name to give the child? But if you still refer to somebody as Mrs. Jones when she's Miss Smith, you are offending them, even when you know the difference. And if you don't, because you know what's funny is people that say, I don't believe in the sacrament of marriage, or I don't believe in marriage, but you don't tell people, you don't not call people Mrs. Smith or Jones. That's the thing.
I call people what they want to be called.
And which is what everybody has the right to do. So, okay, so that was the first one that I just want to get that out of the way. We will not tolerate dead naming.
Did you have something to say about dead naming?
Well, when I was a kid, my brother married Denise Montana. So I called her Denise Montana because I had a sister, Denise Prezioso. But Denise Montana became Denise Prezioso because she was married to my brother.
I see.
So I always kept the convention of calling Denise Montana by her maiden name because that's how they met, and I knew her before they were married.
Did you do that to offend her, though?
No.
Okay, so we'll move on. Okay, so you get, Prez, you get the first topic. What's this loving your enemies? We need a...
okay, yeah, we have, let's see here. Loving your enemies.
So Vanessa has some good ones, you said.
Yeah, she does. She tried to make you happy by giving... Okay, here we go. So here's Sal's.
Well, I think...
Love your enemies and pray...
For those who persecute you, which is harder.
Well, anybody can love your friends.
That's true. That's why you call it love your enemies, because you're supposed to go beyond the norm.
Well, think about the guy who trains to box or MMA. When he's sparring, that's nothing. He's got to go get somebody who he doesn't know what their skills are to really find out, or her,
Right.
to find out what are the things that oppose, and then find a middle ground.
See what Vanessa gave for you?
Yeah, it's nice.
Does that please you?
Yes.
Okay.
Although that makes me think of what I said. It was a guy wrote 23 years ago in one of the Philadelphia papers, maybe the Inquirer. Philadelphians would boo Jesus for dropping the cross.
So would Republicans.
Okay, that goes nowhere. That went over like a fart in church. Okay, so next is
Actually, I'm not
did you
done
say
yet.
everything
No,
you
I
wanted?
didn't say it. No.
Okay.
Because I thought that the movement to villainize villainy is not proper because we're supposed to love our enemies, which means like the person that shot Charlie Kirk should be prayed for, because if people believe he's in this quote unquote dark place, then he needs to. I don't believe in violence. I don't think anybody should be violent. I don't think that's called for. Unfortunately, we need governments that are violent because there are violent people. So God creates governments to help us. But
144 years ago, Charles Guiteau shot William the guy in 1881, Garfield, shot Garfield, and in the 1850s, Guiteau was in a free love cult. And even in the 1850s, everybody was screwing everybody except Guiteau. And he had the nickname of Charles Get Out. They didn't really like him in the free love cult. But he was floridly mentally ill. He shot Garfield in April. Garfield died in September. In October, Guiteau was executed. I mean, no screwing around, and that was the way it was. Like Sologus.
no, I understand that's how most people view things and that's how it's done. But I'm saying that's wrong.
What I'm saying, though, is people that do it aren't just depressed, or they're not just sad or in a dark place. They could be schizophrenic, and
That's true.
That's what it is. They're not, and people that kill themselves aren't all depressed.
But even when I was schizophrenic, I couldn't get myself to seriously injure somebody.
But you wouldn't have known it if you did. That's the whole point. That
I basically lost the ability to deal normally with reality.
well, that's what it is. Hallucination is that's the hallmark of schizophrenia, and because hallucinations appear as real. Like a psychiatrist told me when I was in med school, he said it's hard to get to work when you see pools of blood everywhere and you can't step in the pools of blood to get around. You know that.
I didn't have any experience quite like that when I first became mentally ill, but I thought I was hearing the radio say words that were triggering me constantly, and I would change the radio station, and I would hear messages from based on what I was thinking about related to those words, and no matter what I listened to, it was difficult to listen to.
Indeed.
Let's ask our guests if they have anything to say on the topic.
Yeah. Do you have anything, Jim?
Mystery guest.
Well, I just hear you guys talking about love, and first thing I think of is I've been people in my life. Some would say I love you, and then they hurt me. Or what type of love are you talking about? Some people think young people think love is lust. So what is love? Define love before you start saying, at least to me, like, can you love somebody? What do you think about love? Does this guy? What do you think? Define
we
love.
got to talk about the love of Jesus Christ because he died for us. So you have to be, Jesus said the greatest gift you can give a friend is to die for them.
But spiritual love.
Yes.
The spiritual, the love of the spirit.
You know, there's
love of the
agape,
spirit, there's love of the
eros,
body, but there's love of the soul.
Brotherly, there's
Philadelphia. I mean, different, because one thing that I always found kind of quizzical is the nuns that are brides of Christ. That is the most unfulfilling marriage ever. That is the most unfulfilling one-sided marriage ever.
It's fulfilling because I'm married to Christ and I don't have relationships with people in a physical manner.
But it's a sacrifice that they make a sacrifice. And some of those cloistered nuns, they just pray 24/7 until that's it. That's their life. They pray for the world. There's monks in other countries that do that too. And they give up. They give up their life, their material carnal pleasures, believing that God would want them to make that sacrifice to have a cleansed soul and a cleansed spirit that they can benefit other people. Question is, do they? I don't know.
What was that? Why was that camera on the back of your head?
I have no idea.
Well,
I'm a mystery guest today. That's why.
Oh, fair enough. Richard.
How about Paul Dragem? See if he's got anything to say.
Oh, I don't see him. That's what I mean. The light's right on there.
Yeah. Why don't you put your face on the picture, Paul?
Paul with us?
Go to the bathroom.
No, my video camera's not working.
Oh, I see.
I mean, if you don't have anything to say, we're not going to push you.
Yeah, but we're just wondering if you want to contribute.
I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Richard,
Aren't you going to ask me if I have anything to say?
do you?
Well, let's look at it this way. Right now, there are people in Israel who spend their whole life studying the Torah. And when it came time to be drafted...
I don't think so. Sorry, wasn't me.
Okay. So they claim they spend their whole life studying the Torah. And when it came time to be drafted, they said, oh, we should be exempt. Why? Well, we're already protecting the state of Israel for praying for it. Why do you want us to do more? We're helping more than anybody else. Now, the Israeli public does not accept that as a reason. And they keep persuading the state, take away their exemption. Take it away. That's not a valid reason. Now, I agree with the general public in Israel that the Hasidic Jews shouldn't be exempt. What do you say?
They're Orthodox. They're not Hasidic. The Hasidim are a subset, just to clarify that. But what about the Arabs? Because the Arabs are also exempt from the draft. Many of them volunteer, and an Arab Israeli lives better in Israel than, except for royalty, and every other place in the Middle East. They have a better life in Israel than they would in Syria, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon. It would be a better life. They do. So the Arabs don't have to serve in the military either. So,
but the reason the Hasidic people give is we are praying, just like the nuns praying for the world, and other people who pray for the world.
I don't believe I have any control over what happens. I believe that God is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, and He's the one that fights for me. So I know that things work out for me because that's what God's will is. But if it doesn't work out for me, I just have to accept that that's where I am in life, and that I have to. I try to figure out how to explain this.
Well, let's ask Paul, because Paul said, no, they don't. What did you mean by that, Paul?
Say that again now?
When I said there are people in Israel who are praying and they claim they're sustaining the state of Israel, you said, no, they don't.
Were you referring to that or something else?
How do you know they are, or how do you know they aren't in reality?
How do you know the Orthodox Jews are not praying all the time?
And sustaining the state. Yeah.
How do you know it's not really working?
Okay.
No, I mean, but that's the question. How do you know the Orthodox are not doing it? Are they secretly having big parties, getting hammered and having a good time when we're not looking? I mean, I say that with humor, but what are they doing if they're not praying?
I believe in praying constantly. I can feel God.
No, Paul was talking.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Paul.
No, I said I don't remember saying that.
I
So
thought,
when did I
didn't
say
somebody
that?
interrupt me? And
Yeah,
say,
he
no,
did,
they-
and he said, no, they don't. You said the Orthodox spend their time praying, and he said, no, they don't. And then you clarified your statement. They claim that,
Right.
yeah, we can run the tape back. We can throw a
But
flag.
Paul, what were you referring to? Did you have something else in mind? You can't remember right now.
I don't remember saying that. I mean, I was probably talking to somebody over here, and I said no. But
Okay. You were talking to somebody at your house. Okay.
yes,
That explains it.
Well, in any case, nothing precludes the Orthodox from joining the Israeli army or the Israeli armed forces. I don't know what % do, but they're just not required to.
Is this conscientious objection, or is this spiritual
Well, that
objection?
was the compromise. They now have to go in, but they have to work in the kitchen.
Okay.
Work
that's
in the
reasonable.
office. Yeah.
But should they have to support a cause that's murderous and evil?
Well,
I agree.
Well, but actually, it's interesting you say that, like work in an office, because every single Marine, except for the band, is a rifleman first. So when Haji, which is not a derogatory term, because a Haji is a person doing the Hajj, so it's not a derogatory term. When Haji overruns the building thinking he's going to kill a bunch of Marines, he's going to get another thing coming, because all these people are riflemen first before they're data entry clerks or computer wonks. They all have a rifle and know how to shoot it. So that's the difference, and I would suspect that, because I remember a guy reading about a guy in Vietnam who was a conscientious objector, but he had to go. He had to go to Vietnam, but didn't get a gun. And I read the article in Reader's Digest, said he was the saddest looking person he ever saw.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the solution to mass shootings is to arm more people?
No, I think that's the irony, because a good guy with a gun will stop a bad guy with a gun. How often? Not often enough.
I guess Texas is a safe state because most people carry a gun, and if somebody tries to, they have a very low crime rate because of that.
Oh, interesting. So he's given us the opposing opinion here.
Well,
Well, you know, if you look at it, if you argue in terms
everybody carries weapons, and they have a lesser crime rate than people that other states that don't carry. So everybody, think about it though. Everybody's carrying a gun. So who's going to mess with you? Because that would be too much of a confrontation. So
A guy with a better gun.
But it only goes so far because
regardless,
you got 100 people with guns against you versus you with the better gun.
You get 1,000 people with a better gun. I mean, there's always violence begets violence, no matter what.
well,
okay, so we have two sides on this. Now, if you look at it in terms of statistics, the statistics say that if there's a gun in the house, there's a high probability it will be used on someone else in the house or on yourself.
yes.
Okay.
Right? And there's a low probability you're going to shoot a bad guy with it.
True.
Now,
Okay.
do you say, well, I think those statistics are telling me it's a bad idea to have a gun in the house?
So I think it's telling you need to be responsible for that gun, trained probably for the gun, have a license for the gun, even have insurance to operate a gun, right? And if somebody does get hurt accidentally, or they deserve to sue you for that insurance, or your family should sue them. There's no really recourse anymore to violence of that nature in society. That people should. That's the problem with the NRA. And somebody said Putin funds it. Anybody hear anything like that?
No.
Oh yeah, I've heard that just recently.
From where?
It was on a talk
if
show.
if someone breaks
It's not
into
a
your
talk show.
house
It's not a talk show.
and you shoot them and you injure the person breaking into your house, should that person be able to sue you for injuring them?
Well, that's a good question, Paul, because one of the things that a lawyer told me outright is, if you shoot somebody, go into your kitchen and take a knife out and put it in their hand. Because otherwise, in New York State especially, you're going to be besides the victim, you're also going to be the criminal.
You shoot the injured, you shoot the kill. So you just make sure you kill him so he can't debate you.
Well, he's got to fall inside your house. They say if he falls outside off your property, it's murder.
Well, but
The Bible makes the distinction that if someone comes into your house at night and you get into a scuffle with them and you kill them, that you're not responsible. But it says if something happens during the day, you're responsible for his blood. So I don't know exactly what the reason behind that is.
well, because they didn't honestly, and I'm not being sarcastic. It's the electric light. Because until the
we're talking Old Testament.
I'm telling you, until the mid 1800s, nobody stayed up all night.
Okay.
But he had candlelight.
Candlelight, you can't see a damn thing. You can't see a thing. The electric light was the big change from agrarian to industrialism.
I believe you have the right to protect yourself and your family. I don't care what you bring out. An elephant gun, cut them to pieces. You have the right, if you feel threatened, somebody breaks into my house, don't tell anybody where I live, I'm not going to kill them. They can take my furniture.
Oh, you're at 123 Spruce Street, right?
They can yeah, no, they can
that's
take the
not me.
TV. They can take everything. Leave my wife. I love her. But take everything. I'm not going to kill them, right? But if they try to harm my wife or me or anybody that under my charge that I love, or that I don't even like necessarily, might be an uncle staying there.
Well,
I'm going to protect them, and that's it, no matter what.
That there's two sides to every coin, though, or actually, every story has three sides: you, me, and the truth. And
that was the truth.
no, let me don't interrupt me. I said that we don't do that.
All right.
That you, me, and the truth. And there's a saying or an abbreviation, PSG WSP. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. If the police accidentally or come to the wrong house, you don't stand up and say, "I'm not afraid of you," as they shoot you. You comply. That's the thing. When you don't comply, the guy with the bigger gun is going to get you.
Well, that's a different situation.
But
Tell that to the people that are being hunted down like animals right now, scared and terrified, running through their society that are maybe Mexican, being hunted down by these ICE people. Tell them that stuff. They're terrified for their life. Anybody that comes to that door that day, they're going to run like hell, or they're going to shoot them.
do you know why the illegals got out of Mexico? Because the cartels are doing that. There was a store. Let me tell you about a daily thing, because there was. I just looked for real, true horror stories, and a woman wrote in and said, when I was a younger adult, I was in a phone booth, and a car just pulled up into my little Mexican town, opened the door, and dumped 6 human heads out the door, and then just drove off.
That's a worst case situation there.
That's an everyday situation there. That's not a worst case. That happens every day. And do you know who Enrique Camarena was?
No.
1986. He was a DEA guy that they tortured him to death. Now, I don't know if you want to know what torture to death is. I'm not going to tell you.
I think it's unimaginable.
He got tortured to death. That's bad. That's bad. And if you remember the movie with what's his name from 300, the Scottish guy.
Well, while you're thinking of it, I'm going to address Sasha's comments.
Oh, go ahead. Fire.
Okay, Sasha, by saying that, you reminded me of a joke that's very germane to this topic that we're discussing. And it goes like this. When I was growing up, my parents always said the same thing to me. We have a gun in the house because we have to protect our 3 children. Every time somebody would come over and say, I see you have a gun there. Yes, we have to have a gun in the house to protect our 3 children. All the time my parents said that. And then one day it changed. It turned into, we have to have a gun in the house to protect our 2 children.
Okay. So did the kid kill himself, or did somebody kill him?
One of the kids found the gun and shot the other kid.
Okay.
And that's...
There should be stricter laws, regarding like locking up weapons. And like I say, there's no course. Down mostly in the southern red states, they can walk in and come out with a submachine gun. There's no check. There's no check and balance. There's no, like I said, I think they should take a test. I took a test when I was a kid.
What do you think about
for hunting,
freedom?
Holding a shotgun,
I think
rifles.
this is a freedom issue, because people, when they drive cars, gain a lot of freedom. But every time you go out in a car, you take a risk of having an accident, being injured or killed, or losing property.
And the worst thing on the roads is other people.
Yes, most of the time, but I'm not the best all the time either. So.
But at least they have insurance, and not that it's good that anybody gets hurt. But you get back to the weapons, that's the biggest problem. There's no recourse. It's just like
what are you saying should be done? People should have weapons, or people shouldn't have weapons?
I think responsible people, it's okay for them to be responsible. But I'm saying you have to take a test. You have to take a course. Prove your responsibility, not just
anybody. Well, you got to do that for driving, so why shouldn't they do it for guns?
Okay, how's
well,
this?
Because generally, somebody comes to your house, you don't shoot them with your car.
No, if you get on the road and you run into somebody and T-bone them and kill 3 people in the car.
If you're drunk or high or irresponsible in that way that you ran the light, you were speeding, then you are responsible and you are liable.
Right, but you're willing to take the risk of that happening if you have the freedom.
Okay, Richard, you have a point.
This is for the Prez and for Paul, okay? What do you think of this suggestion? We will allow anyone in the U.S. to buy a gun, provided that everyone in their household signs a letter stating, I approve of so-and-so getting a gun, and the neighbor on the left of you and the neighbor on the right of you has to sign a letter saying, my next door neighbor wants to buy a gun, I approve. If you can't get all those letters, you don't get the gun.
It's pretty much that way anyhow. So it's like, so when you got to provide references, and they'll call these people for references to see if you're crazy or if you're violent or anything. And if they say, yeah, he is, they won't issue you a permit.
Right. You have
Personally, I would never own a gun because I would never want to kill anybody else, because I wouldn't want them to lose the chance to be saved.
Well, I wouldn't want to kill anybody, but I wouldn't hesitate to shoot them in the leg to stop them.
No, that's not how you do it. No. Because if somebody's trying to get you,
do not shoot to injure. You
shoot to kill. The Mozambique drill, 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. Because if you shoot me in the leg and I have a gun, I'm still alive and I'm still going to try to kill you.
I don't think there's any rationale in the moment. We can talk about this all day, but when it happens, and you react as you react. And that, you know what I mean? It depends on how you're trained, how you're brought up.
And that's what it is. Even people that are trained still miss. You know, that in the if people wanted to hit in the leg, they still miss.
Okay,
I mean,
okay. Well, then what is the answer? Then finish it with the answer here. Then should we have a right to have, if we're responsible, take a test, know what we're doing, and I'm not saying you should let your neighbors know. That might not be a good thing to let them know you're armed.
Hey, if your neighbors don't believe in you, maybe you shouldn't have a gun.
Yeah, but
I agree with that.
I mean, you talk about responsibility, but 60% of first marriages fail. 60% of the people that made a vow to love, honor, and respect. So responsibility, that's a fool's errand.
I agree.
But the thing is,
I
go about marriage.
Move on, because you can talk about.
No. I mean, I think that
Paul's trying to say something.
Okay.
I just said move on, because you can talk about this till you die. Everybody's got their own opinion about it. It's like religion.
Hey, I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do that.
I know you
all
are. I know.
right.
So
okay, so Richard, condemning leftist cartoon.
Oh, that was the one you were talking about. Okay.
I was trying to get to.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a cartoon, which is appropriate because it's about guns. All right, here it is. Okay, now, the Republican politicians, many of whom are holding weapons and sending out a Christmas card, you know, husband, wife, 2 children. They have these little baby AK-47s that they give to these little kids, you know, and they take a photograph and they put that on their Christmas card. So they're posing for their Christmas card with all these weapons. And you got good eyesight there, Perez? Can you see what it says?
I can't see on the right. I saw it says Republican politicians on the left. I can't read the top right.
It says, we need to... Can you read that, Jason?
No, I cannot.
Oh, Jesus.
I need to be refracted. I can't see a damn thing. Okay. Oh, wait. I got it. I got to turn around.
Okay.
We need to wrap this up. I don't want to be late to my press conference condemning leftists for promoting violence while everybody's holding a gun.
Yeah.
Well, it's hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Because the only thing...
No, I think some of the issues that are brought up clarifies that it's not necessarily hypocrisy.
But what about, do you think that the politicians who send out these Christmas cards should be condemning the left for promoting violence? It's a tough call.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
Well, dead air is not good.
No, but I mean, but the
what
thing
about
is,
you, Paul? What do you think?
You need, okay.
Oh.
I don't think violence is a good thing, but the thing is, there's times when it's necessary, and there's other times when it's just, most of the time, it's just wrong.
Well, Robert Heinlein, who wrote Starship Troopers, said, people say that violence never solved anything. He said, that's absolutely wrong. Violence has solved a lot of stuff in history because might makes right.
That's true. And the reason why I believe Christianity is right is because it has the most power, because you can live forever.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He's trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are.
That's like a bully. Bullies believe in that. You know, like, how's the biggest gun, the biggest, more violence, more hatred. That's what bullies believe in. That's how they roll. The biggest stick rules.
No, the bullies refer to
the winners.
The bullies refer to fear, and you can. We won't. The Americans won't be cowed because we got guns, and we aren't bullies because we can back it up. We can back it up, and nobody will scare us down, unless it's Taco Tuesday.
What's Taco Tuesday got to do with it?
What?
What does Taco Tuesday have to do with it?
Trump always chickens out. Taco.
Okay.
Or
Taco Cat.
No, just taco.
You see, the T stands for something, the A, the C, and the O.
It's an acronym.
Oh, it's an acronym.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the irony that for thee, but not for me. And because I got a buddy who works technical for the U.S. Senate. He's not a senator, but he works in the technology office. And, you know, Nancy Mace was talking about wanting to carry all the time. And I said, can they carry in Congress? She said, no, they can't bring it in. And also in the Simpson, and what's the other one, the Hendricks? But two of the other, or the Dirksen and the other building, they can't carry there. Prohibited, full stop.
And if you go to an NRA convention, you can't bring a gun into the convention.
Really?
Yet they'll go up on stage and say why you're safer if you're in a crowd and you have a gun. just don't bring one into this convention.
Well,
I mean,
you know that I've tried to watch. I have the opportunity to watch these series to the end, so I watch every episode. And I was watching Renegade with Lorenzo Lamas, and I described the plot. The plots are written; they're flabby. You know, like Lawman with John Marshall. That was really good. In 24 minutes, they had great stories. But Reno Raines fires his gun like this, sideways. Do you know what that does? Makes you more likely to jam. Anybody who knows guns doesn't do that. But that's why the gangbangers are better shots than the police, because police only go to qualify once a year. And so otherwise, their job is the drudgery of petty crime. And I can tell you, when the shit's hitting the fan, the epinephrine really makes you, that's where the rubber hits the road. And you're not, until you do it, you don't know what you're going to do.
What is epinephrine?
Epinephrine is the fight or flight hormone. It causes increase in heart rate, eyes dilate.
Fight or flight.
It stops you from peeing and pooping. Your blood pressure goes up, and so it helps with your awareness. You don't have to stop to take a leak or drop a deuce. Mm. That's all the things that it does, because the opposite of that is the anticholinergic surge or a cholinergic surge. And with the choline, those are all the things. Your eyes run, your nose runs, you get diarrhea, you got to poop, you got to pee all the time. These are all the opposite of it, because you don't want to have to stop to go to the bathroom when you're chasing prey, and if you're being chased. Because like the old saw, like if it chases us, drink red. If we chase it, drink white. About which wine they have with dinner.
I don't understand that.
White wine for things that we chase to catch, and red wine for things that chase us. So large game, like a deer, like a bull, that's the red wine. And the white is for things like chicken and ducks.
Who made that decision between red and white wine?
That's convention, that they go together with it, because the nature of the flavor of it.
I see.
You got to be a wine connoisseur and a drinker to understand.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's just that.
Well, you don't have to be a drinker to understand it.
Well, okay, I understand the principle, but when you drink...
Well, I already did. I said, it's the smaller stuff, like the birds, the fowl, and the fish. Fish don't chase us, and chickens don't chase us, and ducks don't chase us.
I disagree.
Geese do.
I was a kid. I had a chicken. When I lived on a farm, that chicken would chase me all over the place.
The personal experience.
Terrified me.
The plural of anecdote is not data.
Like, what is data?
It is a character on Starship Enterprise, and
all right, good one.
But because who was Data's brother? Yeah, Lore, because
Lore was
Data,
evil.
which is cognitive, and Lore is aesthetic. Or Data is digital, and Lore is analog. That's the thing. One is the
I understand.
one is the tree, and the other is the leaves and the fruit. But that's why they go together, and you get a complete person when you put them together.
I disagree that you have to be evil to be a complete person.
We're human, that it's part of who we are, whether we suppress it or not. It's in all of us, and it's what we choose to express.
I don't think it's evil. I think we have in our soul some conscious training to survive and to procreate, right? To survive means to defend yourself. It means to get that gun. It means to run. It means to whatever you do. That's not evil. Evil is taking those basic instincts and using them unjustly and harming someone else, one of God's children. Let's say.
Well, that was like in L'Étranger. It wasn't because the guy shot him once; it's because he shot him 6 times. The guy was dead with one, but he dumped 5 more bullets into there, and that went from protecting him to his nature. That was the whole point, dividing that line. Because, like in wartime, that's not considered murder, but you can if you shoot the person up, or like they were saying about the SEALs, the SEAL medics, like Eddie, what's his name? They took the guy that was dying or dead, and they practiced intubating him, and they put it in a chest tube. I mean, they just got caught. I mean, people. That was what we had.
Well, the Greeks believe that if you get away with it, it's not wrong.
That's one school of thought. If there's nobody to enforce the law, have you broken it?
I think you have, because I believe in an invisible God that's aware of everything.
Do you think God will say you did 60 and a 55 and is going to hold that against you?
Possibly, yes.
That's not one of the 10 Commandments. Not yet, anyway.
Well, but also there's a whole bunch of other rules. We were saying this before.
I used to be legalistic, so I understand what it is to try to live under the law. It's impossible. You can't live by legalism. But God said he will have a new covenant where he'll write on our minds and hearts his law, and I will be their God, and they will be my people.
Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God's.
Exactly, because God created Caesar, and you owe Caesar taxes, so you pay your taxes, and you help others because you love others the way you love yourself.
Because I went over the speed limit a bunch of times. So
yeah,
we're all going to hell before we're saved, so there's no... so everyone's a sinner. No one is.
All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God.
Yes.
But yeah, I did 80 coming in here just because I could, and there was a guy in a JB Hunt truck that was in the left lane, and I died and went to heck. Before I forget, I have to show people
accident. You're going to blow up
at home. My shirt says 420. I don't smoke pot. That's my credit score.
I do.
Well, I don't.
420 is your credit. Oh, well, I do.
That's what the thing. That's the whole joke. A 420 in green, but I don't smoke pot. That's my credit score. I love this shirt.
Jason,
what's the significance of the number 420?
Seriously?
Yeah.
That is the pot code word. Presumably came from at 420 in San Diego back in the early 70s after school. That's when people would get under this tree and
smoke
pot.
I tried pot 10 times, and I stopped when I was in my early 30s.
But 420, that's just shorthand for marijuana friendly. 420 friendly means that you can get a roommate who, if you're 420 friendly, you can be a pothead and move in.
Okay.
Right.
That's all.
Now, Paul, he gets pain relief from marijuana.
Absolutely.
Now, as a physician, do you think he's treating himself in a wise way?
If that's a good question.
Well, wait before you answer that. So I used to go to pain management, and you've probably heard of Gosi, which was a fucking
Gene Gosi,
drug dealer. Yeah. So anyhow, he had me on so much morphine and Oxycontin to kill a horse. I was taking 100 milligrams 3 times a day, right?
And you're still alive?
Yeah, exactly. So rather than any other kind of opiate, I chose to go back to smoking marijuana, and I'm like, and that works. So, and there's no side effects from it other than getting the munchies. But other than that, I'm good.
Well, there's
I used to get paranoid, and I didn't like the feeling of it because it reminded me of mental illness.
Well, because the paranoia also comes from the anticholinergic effect. That's why with the dry mouth also scares people.
Right.
So it's all ones and zeros when you break it down. But if you drink enough alcohol, it'll treat your pain also. So there are a bunch of things to do, or whatever bothers you, you could cut it out, or like
you mean stop it and you cut it out.
Should be explaining 420. I know about the cannabis hyperemesis syndrome, which can happen, and people that you'll see a teenager who comes into the emergency department, and sometimes they're in their bathrobe because a hot shower will help it. But you tell them, you stop smoking pot, this will go away, and they're like, no, can't do that.
Psychological.
Well,
they believe it. They believe it.
It's addictive too.
What's wrong with belief? If you believe that one toke off a joint will make your day better, as long as you don't harm anybody, you don't get behind the wheel, you don't bother anybody, you go about your life. Is that a crime? Should that be a crime? Is it bad for the person to ingest it, like the people eat gummies now? I hear, right?
Mm-hmm. But Jim, you're saying you're qualifying it because one puff.
I think you have to. Because I know people do one hit of something powerful. They're blown away. They get behind the wheel. They're actually dangerous, even with pot. But then other people can ingest a lot more because the tolerance level they're at doesn't affect them in the same way.
People that are into cannabis will do everything they can to tell you that if you don't use it, you should, and there's nothing wrong with them using it.
Well, I used to, but I would never say that to anyone. I don't recommend drugs at all. I recommend going inside and, just yourself and dealing with your issues and problems and solving them naturally.
What's that joke?
Why does it have to be a joke?
No, I'm going to tell you a joke.
Okay.
A transgender, a vegan, and a CrossFitter walk into a bar. I know this because within 2 minutes they all told me.
Okay.
They all talk about it. That's the joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you get it now? They will,
I don't
they
think
will,
that's funny.
It is funny because it happens. It's true. They will tell you whether you want to know or not.
Okay.
It really gets a lot of laughs. Okay, now what's our next one? Richard, A Fool's Life.
Okay, so I came across this book, which I'd like to show you.
I'm certain it's not by John Kennedy Toole.
It's by a guy named. Hold on a second. I'm going to show you the book. Okay, so we put it on a big screen. A Fool's Life, and I did not know that this book existed. Okay, it's by Ryunosuke Akutagawa. Now, he was a famous novelist in Japan in the 40s and 50s and 60s. And everybody knew who he was.
Okay.
So, he decided to write a book about his own personal development. And when you read this book, okay, so let me tell you that each chapter is about some type of pain that he felt in his life. Like one chapter is about the first time he realized that his mother was mentally ill.
Yeah.
And then how he used books as an escape from loneliness when he was a child. How bullies bullied him at school. How he thought there was a ghost in his house that was going to kill him. The teachers who were cruel to him and belittled him. So this is 51 chapters of all these bad things that have happened to him. And then what do you think he did when he finished the novel?
Killed himself?
He took an overdose of sleeping pills and he died. And when they found him, the last page of the novel was in the typewriter. So the question is now, do you publish that book?
Well, sure, why not? It adds to the public knowledge.
Would you like to read that book?
Probably not.
Sure.
I would, just to learn to be able to deal with a person that has a similar issue to him, to be able to recognize his illness. And maybe I could coach him in some way. I'm looking at this now, fear of ghosts in his house, right? Cruelty. And it sounds like he's always just paranoid, very paranoid, and maybe more.
No. It wasn't paranoia. He actually went through those experiences.
Just
because
you're
did he see a
paranoid-
ghost in his house at night? Was everybody cruel to him, or did he think everyone was cruel to him? Were they cruel to everybody else too?
Well, but we're all the hero of our own story. If they're cruel to you, you don't care if they're cruel to somebody else.
Yeah, but this guy had a problem.
You should care if they're cruel.
I don't know, because you know the way everybody talks, but not everybody is a great speaker? I don't know the quality of this book.
Well, just the subject matter. I'm reading it right now. Awkwardness, just everybody else was his problem. And he wasn't the problem. It's just a reflection on how his body feels. So
then that makes it his problem. It's how they affected him. That's not saying that it's not his fault, because that is a hallmark of some mental illnesses, that never accepting blame, that you're never wrong. That
my dad said he made a mistake once. He thought he was wrong.
That's just the whole
that's
joke.
that's what my dad used to always say. He would say that. He also said one hand washes the other, and that I make a better door than a window sitting in front of the TV.
Well, because I don't know if this is well written or not, because
Well, considering he was such a renowned novelist, it probably is.
I've never even heard of him.
I didn't either.
Well, you're not Japanese.
Yeah, well, 40s in the 40s. The wartime, you got to take in consideration what's happening around him and his environment to understand his psychology a little bit, too.
True.
But
His
also,
fears.
I
also,
honestly don't...
in the Japanese culture, isn't suicide okay under certain
It's Harry Carey.
Yeah.
Seppuku. But what I don't know is if there are, what the idea of a ghost is in Shinto. I don't know if they are, because those are, Shinto is a worship of your dead relatives.
Well, he's got self-loathing. He loathed himself in a dream. So all of these things are like he's being persecuted. He persecutes himself even somehow for maybe because society is projecting something to him in a way that he feels that he feels such guilt that he ends up killing himself. I think there's a lot more to this story. I'd actually like to know more about this
Yeah,
character.
but see, like you say, the guilt is why he killed himself. You don't, like I said, you can't draw reasons why. It's not all depression and guilt and self-loathing that people kill themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, again, a percentage. I don't know what the percentage is, but schizophrenic folks will kill themselves to stop the voices from screeching in their ears. And the voices are what they're depersonified to make it all right to have your crazy thoughts. That's what it is. That since it's not in you, somebody's telling it to you, that makes it in your mind okay. And that's just one example.
Okay, this guy had a lot of issues. He had 49 different things. Dreams of suicide by drowning, confession of cowardice in daily life. This man had no self-esteem whatsoever. Nothing.
I think that's typical of Japanese culture.
One of his chapters is people laughing about him behind his back.
Okay.
That's paranoia.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not paranoid unless they really are. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean nobody's after you.
So the 51st chapter, the last chapter, he talks about what it would be like if he dissolved into nothingness. So, he's obviously planning to kill himself.
Okay. Well, he could just be going off into the hills, becoming a mountain man. No, seriously, that he could.
He could.
Well, he'd have been better off, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. Not living like he was living. Was he happy? Did he have a life believing all this stuff and a persecution and a paranoia and a fear? Yeah. I say to myself, somebody should have ran to help this guy after reading this.
Yeah.
Well, it was a little bit too late, though.
Yeah, a little too late.
Yeah, he already killed
by the 51st chapter. Yeah.
But the thing is, people have these thoughts all the time. I mean, everybody. I have no basis for this. This is my own belief. Okay, this is my own belief. There's no basis for this, but I think in our minds we're all crazy. But there is a shield that keeps you from saying stupid shit. And the stuff that you say, before you say it, you think it, but before you say it, it bounces off this shield and it goes back. But some people get like an action potential that gets through that, or the people that have a porous shield and they say stupid shit all the time that gets them beaten up, fired, broken up in relationships, poor, arrested. That's the stuff they don't learn how to, or either they don't learn or they don't learn from their mistakes.
Or they haven't learned how to just be a normal human being at all.
What is normal?
I think Jesus is normal.
They don't.
And Richard's normal. Richard's normal.
And that's why because every hand has its glove, every garbage can has its lid.
Yeah, right. These are theories. This is psychology.
30 years ago, there was a nurse that worked at one of the hospitals, and she was beautiful, but wow, she was mean. Whatever you said, she would find the downside. I mean, always. And one of the guys we worked with, he meeting her, they go out once. He said, no, she's really not that bad. No, she really is that bad, but they just went together well. Well, they're married 33 years now, have 3 boys, and he's a battalion chief with Cincinnati Fire, and she's a nurse in one of the hospitals in Cincinnati.
I like to know, are the children doubters too? If the 2 doubters get together, or 2 negative thinkers, like you're kind of describing them.
Well,
yeah.
I wonder if the children were affected by that. I like to know that kind of thing.
But that's here's a thought experiment. If you could clone yourself, would you have a best friend or an enemy?
Excellent thought.
That's the thing.
If you could clone yourself, would it be your friend or your enemy?
No, would you be your best friend your best friend or your total enemy? Because we would, if I was cloned, we'd all both have to be right all the time. So we'd always, we would never, it would not be sufficiently explicated ever.
I would like to hear my own point of view once in a while, but not from my conscious experience. Like in other words, the alter me, like I think something and I think, oh, I'm right about that. Then I would like to hear another opinion. A strong opinion. I would do that.
Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, we don't want to leave you out of this, Paul.
And we get about 11 minutes left. Fill it up, Paul.
Geez, I don't
like
know.
your cat.
If you could clone yourself, Paul, would you have your best friend or would you have your best enemy?
I don't think either. I think I would want somebody that I could communicate with in a way where we could come up with a solution of something, and
because even twins are
our thoughts into one. Yeah, I would say friends anyhow.
I wish everybody would think like me, okay? And that's why I feel that I know they'd be a sensible human being that I could correspond with, to talk to. Do you
know who else says that, Jim?
Hitler, probably, right?
No, schizophrenic people.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, I think everybody should think like me.
Thank you. All right.
I mean, People are people, and that's the thing. We're as different as the green in this wood.
I meant it more like people that
the difference is the green in this wood is all the different kinds of people there are, and so they're not the same.
Right, it's all wood, but they're all the grains.
There's 8 billion people in the world.
Yeah, the grain is people, or the wood is people, and the grains are the different kinds of people.
Yeah. But what I meant was that I just
like fingerprints.
I like to think.
Yeah, but koalas have fingerprints like we do.
Just think about honesty. I feel I'm an honest person. I would clone another honest person. Because I don't want to talk to a person that's dishonest. I don't want to be around negativity and darkness and lies and deceptions. I don't want to join the Republican Party.
It's too much of that in this world. But I do agree that there are people that are good. I have relationships with other Christians that I think are great. I try to have relationships with you guys here. And I think we're doing pretty well with it for the most part.
Avowed atheistic friends, though, that you think that are great. That are great.
Yeah, I'm a friend with a Jehovah's Witness who's married to an agnostic with a Baptist daughter.
Okay. Was that? Am I coming through as my
Richard? Where's Shirley? I thought I wanted some confrontation.
Yeah, that's called dead naming, Paul. We don't tolerate that. And I'm going to tell you, that was the whole point what I said. That is not the name that Vanessa chooses to use. And you are showing massive disrespect by not calling her by the name she uses.
That's the person I know, though.
It doesn't matter.
That's the person I know.
It does matter.
It matters to me.
Then don't say anything because it's offensive. You're actually...
Well, it's offensive. It's offensive that he calls himself Vanessa.
See, right there, again, I'm going to tell you, you're completely off base. You're completely off base.
I don't think so.
Well, it doesn't matter what you think. You also think colloidal silver works in place of antibiotics. That is absolute.
Well, I didn't say that. You said that.
You said that.
It worked for me. But I didn't say it's good to replace antibiotics. Not all the time. I said this particular event it worked for me.
And that time and again, that people have the right to be called by the name they choose, and that's the name she chooses to use. And just because you don't understand transgenderism or you don't understand intersex doesn't mean that you think you do, because you don't. And I could give you a lecture you wouldn't understand, but I won't do that because that's offensive and that's insulting, and you're being offensive and insulting.
How do you know I wouldn't understand it? You just assuming, so that's offensive to me that you assume that I wouldn't understand.
Tell me about the Krebs cycle. Tell me about wound healing.
First, it doesn't interest me, so I don't know of the particulars. So, but if you were to explain it to me,
I think we should be interested.
You guys are talking about these deep personal issues and slurs and slanders, and he has the right to say what he wants. You have the right to define what he says, and she has the right to feel anyway. I think we all have feelings like that. Even like a name, like my name's Jim, right? Now somebody could just, hey, Jimbo, or it could be a friendly, hey, Jimbo. But it's the way it's said, and then it's the way it's going to be interpreted that really matters the most.
But it's what you said before. Everybody has the right to be called the name that they want. You said that yourself.
Yeah, but it's how you call it, okay? Jimbo, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, Jimbo. Yeah, but it's a whole different added spirit. It's a different spirit. It's a friendly spirit. It's a happy attitude. But you could take it both ways.
But it was like I said about Miss Smith and Mrs. Jones. And if Mrs. Jones gets divorced and goes back to Miss Smith, and you keep calling her Mrs. Jones, you're being offensive.
Well, if you know that, it bothers her, then you are offending
her. And that's why he's being offensive.
Yeah, I don't know about her. Okay, I don't know about his personal views.
Well, you weren't here last week.
No, but neither were the thousands of others that are watching.
He just did it again. And so that's why I won't tolerate that, because we don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable, and that's making somebody uncomfortable. And that's unjust.
What if I feel uncomfortable?
Well, then you have the choice to leave, because you're the one saying it. You have the option to not say anything.
They have the option of leaving too if they're uncomfortable.
Well, no, that's reductio ad absurdum.
Yeah,
I got called all kinds of profanity. So why should I tolerate that?
If you didn't say anything, then that's on you.
Well, it's if. So if he or she didn't say who he was, then the if doesn't count.
No matter where you go, that you will not admit you're wrong, and science doesn't agree with you.
I'm not saying that. I agree that stuff like that happens, and I agree that there's situations where a person has to deal with that, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. It doesn't mean I have to deal with it. But I do acknowledge the fact that there are intersex people that, scientifically things like that happen. It's rare, but it happens.
I'm failing to see the scientific aspect to this personal issue that's dividing people. Like it's like you say, the name thing. It's what's the science got to do with this? What's that?
It's the people that with gender dysphoria that for whatever reason, it's an antiquated version because people didn't know. People didn't know. We didn't know anything. That Arthur C. Clarke said, at sufficient resolution, magic and science are indistinguishable. And if you brought your phone back to the 1400s, they'd say it's from the devil. And you could say, no, this is just progress.
No, I could say it probably is.
And what the thing is, don't interrupt me, please.
Okay, you got it.
That one thing I would do with the phone is I would take a piece of silk and I'd rub it with my hand and get a spark. And I say, that's the beginning. That's the beginning, and it's going to go all the way. And so the antiquated view is that there's two genders, period, or people, what you're born with is what you have. Because that was in an episode of SVU 20 years ago about twins, but one has a botched circumcision, so they raised that child as a girl. And that kid is messed up. And when you feel like you're stuck in the wrong body.
Okay, you just explained what you meant by science to me. You answered that. Thank you.
Okay.
That really was it.
Okay.
Yeah, I get all that. And that's no, I mean, but in the normal realm of things, there's a male and there's a female. Now, if there are the anomalies that happen, obviously, because that's the case. But in a normal society, that is not. It's like albino people that are albino or animals that are albino. It's a genetic problem, and it's a.
Why does it have to be a problem? Normal.
Do you say Caitlyn Jenner? Or do you say Bruce Jenner?
I don't say anything.
Well,
I know who you're talking about, but I don't really associate with it. But I mean, I would still say Bruce because he's a man.
See, like right there, ipso facto shows your bias, and that's why you will never.
I am. I'm not. I am when it comes to that. When you try to pretend something you're not.
And that's the whole point. Pretending there's something not. You don't know what's in anybody else's head or anybody else's life. And to make that statement is hubris.
Well, that's a psychological thing. That's whatever's in their head. I have no control over. But physically, if I'm looking at this person and you put a male and you put a female next to each other, you're gonna know this is a male, this is a female, just by looking.
No, actually, you won't. You won't. I mean, I showed a picture a couple of weeks ago of somebody that was transgendered, and you would think it was just a woman.
Naked, standing in front of you.
Yeah, but how does that affect you if you're not having sex with them? Why do you say that?
It doesn't affect me. Good point. It doesn't affect me at all.
It sounds like it does because you won't let the topic go, and I'm trying to move on to something else. And the fanatic can't change their mind and won't change the subject.
Well, I'm good.
Do you have anything else you want to give us, Paul? Any other topic you want to address?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Richard, you got anything for us?
I do not.
I think loving your enemies is very important at this point.
All right. I really enjoyed coming here today. I felt there was a little antagonism in the crowd here, but I learned something from it. And because you were right about what you said, Paul was right about his opinion. That's his opinion. All right. He's not wrong. This is how he feels. And the thing is, the question is, should we project our feelings onto others if we know it's going to hurt them? And that's our own personal decisions. And that's the personal decision of the person.
That's a no.
Okay, well, that's your opinion.
No, you're saying about projecting it onto other people. You think I should be allowed to do that? Okay, your 30 seconds are up.
I'm free to do it.
You got anything? You got 30 seconds.
Okay, I think that we need to relax and try to respect each other so that we can have a common ground and then grow from it rather than taking a perspective of antagonism.
Can I hear an amen on that one?
You still have 8 seconds. Okay, I'll take it. Okay. My point is that people that are anti-science will get duly ridiculed because That's the way it is. And I would ask Paul respectfully, do not refer to Vanessa by her dead name. It doesn't matter if that's how you knew them then. That's just plainly wrong, because that means you haven't grown and you're not appreciating it. And if you do that on purpose, you're being intentionally oppositional and you're being intentionally abusive. And that is the password for the Zoom room is friendship, and that's not friendly. And that's all I have to say for the show. We thank you all for coming. We'll see you next week.